welcome to the Everyday Board Game Podcast with your host, Daniel.
And Daniel.
Daniel, we're in the merry season.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait for Christmas to come around.
Yeah.
At this point in time, we have like 4 weeks. Because this actually airs on December 1st.
That's great. Yeah, exactly. So obviously we recorded a little bit early. It is the middle of November. And I feel kind of weird, I completely forgot that this was our December line. Yeah. And I walked in here and I saw the hats. I'm like, that's right. It is.
The tree didn't give you any clue?
I didn't notice the tree when I walked in. I was like, I noticed the lights were off. But I mainly just went right over here to get situated and all that stuff, like my normal stuff. I saw the notebook or the clipboard, and I saw the hat line on. I'm like, okay, we're good.
Yeah, we wanted to decide to go with a very popular mechanism, especially back in the day, because I remember playing these games with my cousins. One game that really does this mechanism that we're going to be doing today in particular, and we played the mess out of it growing up. Is one of the few things that we played. That and Spoons was the other thing that we played a lot of. And then we got older and we started playing stuff like Risk and stuff like that.
Sure.
But the game we're talking about is Yahtzee, of course.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell the people what we're talking about today?
Yeah, this is a top 8 debate for re-rolling and locking. And what that means is that you're going to be rolling some dice, you're going to be setting aside some, locking them in for whatever way, and choosing ways to re-roll the other dice. And there's different ways that can happen. We'll go into more detail later, but we decided that since Yahtzee is a classic game, good one for Christmas, play with the family, that has that mechanism. We were originally going to do roll and move, but we were like, you know what, let's see something different. And then you came up with this, and I was like, wow. We looked at the first page. It was like, I could do a dozen games off of that first page.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, wow, you haven't played this one? I'm like, yeah, it's like one of the few. I have the roll and write version of it, and I haven't played it. So
we'll have to try it sometime. I think you'll dig it.
And it's funny because I was looking through all these games, and I'm like, I really do like this mechanism. I don't like every single game on this list. I like most of them. There's one I can live without, and I kind of wish because I had to ask you, like, have you played this game? Yes, I have. Darn, because the one that just missed out, I would have loved to talk about because we just recently played it.
Yep. Oh well, rats. That's all right. We're gonna jump straight into this episode, but before we do, Daniel, what have you been playing lately?
The first game I want to talk about is, and actually both of these games were played with just you and me and a 2-player day. We had to go through a day recently where G.A.M.E.R Dom and G.A.M.E Geek couldn't join us for our game day. And we just went 1 for 1, playing a bunch of little card games or like little 2-player games and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was a fun day.
It was a fun day. We got like 9 games? Yeah. The one I want to talk about was probably one of my favorites of the night. In fact, the two games here were probably 2 of my favorites of that night. One of which I want to play with more people, but this one I think sings well at 2 players, and I think it will sing well at a higher player count. From Happy Camper, Jungo. Yeah. This little fun little monkey card shedding game. I adored it. I like Scout. I think Scout's a fantastic game. Yeah. I'd rather play this than Scout.
I can see this hitting the table more, although I prefer Scout just barely.
And I think the reason why you like Scout so much is because it has that nice little twist where you have to flip the cards a certain way.
No, it's not so much that. What I really like, and what Jungo, I mean, it technically does, right? Mm-hmm. Jungo, you take the cards back when you beat the trick. Yeah. Which is great. In Scout, you take a card if you can't beat the trick. Yeah. But what I like about that version is that you take only 1 card, but that makes it easier for other players to defeat the trick. And so it's that diminishing return. Yeah. I really appreciate it. It's really picking hairs, though, because it's such a small variance. But that little clever change, I prefer on it.
I like Scout, but I love the Jungo, little twist as well, where it's like, okay, you won the trick, basically. Now, you can either discard them, and there's less cards in your hand, or you can take these into your hand.
Right.
And put them anywhere in your hand to make your hand stronger. So it could be to the point where, like, oh, there's 2 4s there, and I got 2 4s sitting right here. Now I have 4 4s. Come at me, bro.
Yeah, exactly. No, I remember that. Like, that was a really fun thing. It's like, man, I'm taking way too many cards right now, but I'll grab these 6 6s. Why not? Throw them in there.
What I also like too is the Jungo aspect of it, where like if I can't play, I can draw a card. I can either discard that card, or I can put it in my hand anywhere I want to. Or, if it's possible, I can call Jungo, play it at the table, and play 2 cards that are adjacent to each other to make a Jungo and possibly beat that hand. I love that little twist. It's like, hey, you could get really lucky. Yes, it's lucky, but it's very rare it's going to happen. But and it worked out in your favor.
It did.
So, it's a fun little card setting, like we mentioned. It is a re-implementation of a Japanese game called Hachi Train.
Yeah.
It has come from Happy Camper, as I said, and the designer is Toshiko Arao.
Okay.
So I can't pronounce that last name, but Toshiko. And then it's such a simple rules game. And this is why Happy Camper is really getting on my map, is their games are so simple.
They're clever card games.
And they're clever, too, like you were saying. Because it's like, oh, I can do this? Yeah. Oh, that's kind of cool. And the Jungo thing was like, wait, you said I can play this if I can match it with stuff in my hand, right? That are adjacent. I'm like, yeah. All right, here's some 3/6s. I beat your 3/4s based off the Jungo here.
Yep.
So
as long as it can be played in, it counts. Right?
Yeah, no, I liked it a lot, Jungo.
Jungo is cool. All right, the first game I wanted to talk about is a game that was sent to me by the op, and it was part of like their like promotion where they take some pictures. Mm-hmm. So it was kind enough for them to send it. It's called Tacta. It's one of their newer games. It's a game where you are trying to get the most points by little dots that are on your cards. Everyone has the same 18 cards. You shuffle them up, and they're both double-sided cards. So you have your stack, and it's a really clever way to do it. Like, imagine this is my stack of cards. You can either play the card that's facing you or the card that's on the back, right? So you can flip it over as many times as you want, and each card is the mirror version of itself on the back of its on the back of its card.
Okay.
So all you do is place it down so where you cover up exactly one other card. And by cover up, it has to match the shape exactly. So there's sometimes where the corners are kind of like lined off, where you can stick the corner into like the middle or the top middle of a card. Yeah. Or there's like the short side where it covers up like 3 dots, or 4 dots that covers up like the long side. Or there might be like a way where the short side intersects with the long side, or like a full corner square. Like, it's just weird stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
And the way that they design the shapes work pretty well, because you are trying to place these out, one card after the other, after the other. Of course, it's beneficial to cover up your opponent's numbers. And I tell everybody when I show it to them, I'm like, that's expected, so expect most of your numbers to be gone, right? But there are times where you can limit how other people can play. And one of the best things, which I normally don't like in games like this, they tell you that your table is your play surface, and that is the limit to how far out it can go.
Oh, okay.
Meaning that if I play a card that just so happens to border the edge of the table just enough where nobody else can play cards there, I could potentially score a lot of points and lock them in for myself. I love that. I love that aspect of it, and it works really well. And since you can only play on top of one other card, also that same thing. If you angle the way you place your card in a way where they can't place, your opponents can't place a card on top of it because it would go on top of a second card. Mm-hmm. Again, that's your tactics. You just guarantee that card will score. It works incredibly well. It looks really stylish on there. It's mainly black cards with like neon style colors on it.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised. Like I went into it thinking I would like it. I didn't think I would love it, and I think this is a really clever little game. So, Tacta by the op.
Nice. And
Jason Tremblay, I believe, is the designer.
Nice. And the last game I'm going to talk about is another Japanese game brought over, this time by Allplay. First off, it re-implements the Japanese game Nigochi, and it's by Allplay, as I mentioned earlier, and the designer of Yusuke Sato.
Okay.
And so the game I'm going to be talking about is one that we played at 2 players, and I do want to play it with a bigger play count. Like I said, it was right up there to possibly be my favorite game of the night, because it combines games that I really do enjoy. It combines So Clover. It combines the words from, like, say, Codenames, which I'm not a huge fan of that one. This one actually makes Codenames fun. Or, like, my favorite version of Codenames, Codenames Duet. Yeah. It gives that little ability like Codenames Duet. In deduction, because I'm a sucker for a deduction game. And so you have that thing where you're trying to find the one criminal on the table who doesn't have an alibi.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get pressure off of you, and you try to score as much points as you can. But I just like the fact that it's a fun little party game. And I get like 2 characters, and I have to look at the words that they have and find a word that shares them. So I had ring at one point in, I think, skiing or rowing or something like that, and I had to put Olympics because I needed you to go to ring and that sort of thing. And I was like, oh crap, there's gold over there.
totally forgot about that, but yeah.
Yeah, and I liked how it works. I like that little aspect of it. It's a very well-produced game for a tiny little box. I enjoyed the mess out of it. Alibis from All Play.
Cool. And last one I want to talk about, this will be a shout-out to either Illuminous or Masmos. I forget who it is that recommended this game. I played Galdor's Grip. Finally, after being recommended.
I think Illuminous.
I think it was Illuminous. And so, shout-out to you, or whoever it was, please correct me in the comments. But, yeah, Galdor's Grip. It's a solo print-and-play game. And I think it's being published, but I was sent the files. And it's 18 cards, that's it. And you're manipulating it. You hold them all in your hand. That's how you play. Mm-hmm. And the cards will tell you how many cards you take off the top of the deck and throw them onto the bottom. What happens is you have to discover the Galdor's Grip card. After you've discovered the 4 stones cards, and once you've and by discovering them, like at the beginning of your turn, if there's a card face down on the top of your pile, you flip it face up. That's discovering it, right? Once you've discovered your 4 stone cards, then after you've found the Galdor's Grip card, you flip it face up, and the next time you get to that card, then you win if and only if you have 9 or more star points. And these star points are done primarily from the bad characters, the bad monsters that are trying to get you. If you reveal them the first time, if you reveal them face up, they don't do anything. Mm-hmm. But if you get to them and they're the top card, then you flip it upside down. And if you get to it a second time, you're going to lose the game immediately. So you have to have this little edge of tension where it's like, I need to score points, so I'm going to flip these up, but I need to make sure that I manipulate these cards in a way where I never land on it. This was interesting. However, I was a little confused at one part of it because I kind of hit this endless loop where no matter what, I couldn't ever flip over the Galdor's Grip card, and no matter what abilities I put into it, it completely nerfed it. I don't know if there's a rule for that. I'm assuming I lost. And so I was looking online. Maybe I just need to reread the rules. Man. I know. But that was the first time I played it, and I got all but 3 of the cards face up. You know.
Okay.
Although there was one card where if you reveal it and you peek at a face down card, if there's no more face down cards, you lose. So you don't want that one, but it's really useful otherwise. So there's some cool give and take in it. I'm curious to try it again and again, but it looks like it's pretty mean. Like honestly, it beats you up pretty good. All right, so let's get into today's episode. We're going to be doing a top 8 debate for re-rolling and locking dice.
And Board Game Geek defines re-rolling and locking as dice that may be re-rolled or may be locked, preventing re-rolling. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's like it's pretty spot on.
Spot on, yeah. It's either this happens or this happens, and I love the fact that there's different ways that this can work. We were just talking about it on the break. Mm-hmm. Is the fact that certain parts of it are, hey, you have this many re-rolls. Yep. But after your third or final re-roll, that's it. These are the dice you're going to be using. You could choose which one's to lock. There are certain ones that you have to lock these certain dice because they're the bad dice. If you're doing like a push your luck aspect of it, and I'm not saying it's on here, you might have it on your thing, but like Dungeon Roll, if you throw the dragons, you're stuck with those.
Are locked in. Yeah, that would count. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's kind of one of those things that'll stick to you. Or zombie dice is another one where you get zombies, you're stuck with them until
brains or shotgun blast. Yeah. And everything else, the runaways get rerolled. Yeah,
so it has an interesting push and pull and a very good amount of variation.
Yes,
that makes it such a really good mechanism.
Yep, exactly. So, shall we get into our honorable mentions?
Yeah, yes, we shall. Are we doing ours or are we doing the people's?
Let's do the people's. Here we go.
All right, let me give this a little quick refreshy doodle. And again, if you want to get part of our podcast when it comes to the Top 8 debate, go to the Board Game Revolution group on Facebook. We will put a poll there every time we do a debate.
That's right. So, let's see what the people added in on there. First, Max added Cosmic Run Regeneration, which I'm not familiar with.
Not familiar with that one either. Michael added Aeon Trespass Odyssey. I didn't know there was dice rolling in that one, but honestly, I'm not that big into the Aeon's ends and stuff like that. So
yeah, Jason added The Reckoners.
Yeah, that's a cool game. Chad added he doesn't like any of these.
Yeah, the 2% voted with it.
It's just him.
Yeah,
I can see it on a different thing. It's just that where our vote total goes.
Yeah, I guess so. Brian added Roll Through the Ages, which you referenced a few moments ago.
Just a moment ago, yeah. That was an interesting one.
Yeah.
Zach added Dice Throne, but we're not going to worry about that because I made a typo on the poll.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep. Jamie added Pina Colada Dice, or Pine Cola Dice. Yeah, but Pina Colada Dice, I'm assuming, is what they're saying.
Kristen added Roll for the Galaxy. Never played that one.
Vincenzo, forgive me if I misspoke your name, added 20 Strong.
Scott added Quicks. Played that one recently, too.
And Scott also added Farkle, which...
Though we did recently played Dragon Farkle. That was pretty good, too.
Yeah, I mean, I like Farkle overall. Like, I think that's a great pick.
Janice added Dice Town, which we just recently played.
Uh-huh. Elmer added Panda Royale, which is like a brand new one, I think. Unless I'm getting mistaken.
You're getting, I think, mistaken with Panda Slam.
Panda Spin.
It's Panda,
yeah. Yeah.
Panda Royale has been out for about a year or so.
Yep.
Our friends over at the Tabletop Bellhop, they really enjoy that one.
Oh, cool.
Ian added Strike, but I'm not sure if that falls into this category.
Yeah, it's a dexterity lock. Yeah. Absolutely, that counts. Okay. I mean, you re-roll the dice by force.
There you go.
I can agree with that, Ian. Thank you. Louis added Spots.
Yeah, I mean, the last name might be the clue how to pronounce his name, but because you said the Spanish name first.
Oh, okay.
Vitor added Project Elite. Now, that one was a fun one.
Yep. Michael added Favor of the Pharaoh, which I haven't played yet.
I haven't played it either. Yeah. I've heard pretty good things about it. Daksha added, and again, sorry if we butcher these names, added My Shelfie, the dice game.
Mm-hmm. Daksha also added Istanbul, the dice game.
I do own Istanbul, the dice game. Haven't played it yet. It's on that pile right behind you, behind the red curtain.
Yep, I used to own My Shelfie, the dice game.
How'd you like it?
It was fine.
Okay.
But I used to own it for a reason.
Yeah.
It's really simple.
All right. Daksha added also Zonkers. Not familiar with that one.
Thomas added Mlem.
Your favorite cat game. The cat theme over here. And Matuku added Niffle for one.
I've been wanting to try that one. It's a Reiner Knizia solo game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, so Bill specified in the comments, Cubitos is such a fun race, push your luck game with special power dice buying, which I completely agree with.
That might be a hint to what might be on our list that we haven't talked about here in a little bit, but we'll get there here in a minute.
That's right.
Jason added, The Reckoners is a fantastic, even if you've never read the solid source material. In fact, remember how you've mentioned, and I'll talk about it on my honorable mentions, because spoiler, it's on mine, that how something got you, like Firefly, the board game, got you to play or watch the Firefly TV show. Mm-hmm. That this game did that to me.
For Reckoners?
For Reckoners.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because our friends really were harping it, and so we'll get into that here in a minute. Susan
said, I've played some little game with chicken and eggs. Not sure what it's called, but I enjoyed that one. Haven't played any of these others. And somebody replied, probably called Chicken?
Yeah. Vincenzo is talking about how he added 20 strong. The core rules use this mechanism quite well.
They do, actually. Yeah,
I haven't played it, so
yeah, it definitely does. Yeah, the locking is pretty important. Paul added, I love the Pandemic, the Cure, and Cubitos let you roll as much as you want with risks attached. Feels pretty underused.
And when we're talking about Paul, we're talking about board game designer Paul Solomon. Yep. This is the second week or something like that.
You're a rock star. We didn't get you on the podcast, bro.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Michael was also adding on to Paul's thing here. Also, Flug der Mumie, the only decent family weight hidden movement game with a brilliant vertical board and is criminally unknown.
Also known as Pyramid of the Penguin. And Michael said, Favor of the Pharaoh, that's literally engine building Yahtzee, and probably the only Yahtzee I'm able to stomach.
I mean, it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it really does.
All right, with that being said, before we get into our honorable mentions, why don't we tell them what's on our list?
Yeah, so our number 1 seed is Gonshan Clever.
Otherwise known as That's Pretty Clever in English areas.
Yep.
Going up against our number 8 seed, Bang the Dice Game.
And our number 2 seed, Tiny Epic Galaxies.
Going up against our 7 seed, Elder Sign, sorry.
Our number 3 seed, King of Tokyo.
Going up against our number 6 seed, Dice Throne.
And our number 4 seed, Cubitos.
Going up against our number 5 seed, Pandemic the Cure. Some really different games for us to decide, which is kind of funny here. Mentioning out for our podcast listeners, Dice Throne, this is the second time they've been on a December top 8 debate.
Yes.
The last time they were on it was for our Christmas games list because there is a Christmas version of this, Santa versus Krampus.
That's right. I can't wait to play the POG version somehow. I found out it's not going to be at the convention that we're going to be at.
Yeah, I figured it wasn't.
Because everyone's going to PAX U.
Yeah, well, they're barely going to have it at PAX U, too.
We need to go sometime. We need to go.
Honestly, I would love to, except for the fact that it's in Philadelphia in November.
Yeah. Goodness me.
And we couldn't drive to that. We would have to fly, and you would hate that.
Yeah, probably. All right, so let's go into our honorable mentions. Let's flip the coin of doom, and you'll be starting us off.
All right, the first game I'm going to talk about was mentioned. I kind of was starting to reference it here. This is the Reckoners, and I love everything about it, like they were mentioning here. Mm-hmm. And the source material is phenomenal, and it was this game, because our friend Dammit Dom owned this game. And I'm already a Brandon Sanderson fan. I've already read a lot of his books. I read the Mistborn trilogy and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, this is a book series that he wrote. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And it's like superheroes, but you're not the superheroes. You're fighting the supers because I think the boys, if you're very familiar, they're not good guys. They're super powered people, but they're not good. And you're the regular people trying to take them down. And the first book is called Steelheart. And I'm like, okay. And that's what the first game is about. And it's like, oh, I don't know any of these characters. I'll take this character because he just seems kind of cool what he's doing. And you're trying to share your dice with the other players, but you're also rolling your dice, and you're trying to lock them because you got to take care of this. You don't want to lose that location. Think Elder Sign, which is also on our list over here, whereas you're trying to make sure locations don't fall, but you have to take out a big bad while still having to worry about the big bad Steelheart coming out and kicking your butt. And so it's that little push and pull, fantastic co-op. You're working as a team. And I'm like, oh, this is a really cool game. I like it. And I own it now. It's up there. But the fact of the matter is like, oh, no, it's like this book series. So I read the entire book series in not even a month. I think I read it like in 2 weeks. I got all 3 books. I picked them up. I couldn't find like some other, like I got the hardback version of the first one. I read it. And I couldn't find any more of the original because nobody had it at the time. I couldn't find it in our secondhand stores, or I had to get it special ordered at Barnes & Noble, that I had to actually buy it digitally on my thing. And I got all 3 books on my Kindle. And I just read through them in like a week, all the last 2 books. It's a fantastic series, mind you. I've only read the trilogy. I haven't done like the side stories that they also do, all these ones. But the trilogy was fantastic, and this is my Firefly to me, where the game got me into the source material. Yeah,
I don't blame you. The first one I wanted to talk about, we referenced Through the Ages, and this is not Through the Ages. But it was very much like a newer, updated version of Through the Ages. Because this is Era.
Oh, Roll Through the Ages, what you're trying to say.
Roll Through the Ages, yes.
Now, Through the Ages, like that's a totally different game.
Very different game. So Era is kind of like, it's like an overproduced version of Roll Through the Ages. Which, by the way,
is already, a very overproduced game.
Yeah, like the wooden planks and stuff, that's so cool with the pegs. It's amazing. But this took that same idea and gave you basically polyomino 3D tiles that you're building around this area. And you're placing them down. That'll give you more food production. That'll give you more dice. That'll give you more actions. That'll give you more area control. Like, it's super cool how it works, and I'm really impressed by it. And so, I mean, you can take your pick. Honestly, Roll Through the Ages is a fantastic game. Era, I don't know why more people aren't talking about it, because Roll Through the Ages is just so heavily lauded that, I mean, this is essentially the same game, just, like, way overproduced. So, Era. That was the first one I want to talk about.
All right, the next game I'm going to talk about in my honorable mentions list is one that got me through the pandemic. There's 2 copies of this between us and our group of friends. Mm-hmm. They had a version of it. I had a version of it. So one person just ran the board while everybody else used the components that they needed to use in the game. But it is my favorite version because there is multiple versions of this game. This is my favorite version because it's based off of one of my favorite IPs, and this is Dark Side Rising. I call it the Rising series because you have Harry Potter, you have Thanos Rising, you have SpongeBob Rising, the Batman Who Laughed Rising.
Yeah,
just a plethora of versions of this game. I think there's an Avatar one now as well. The Last Airbender, not the blue people. But the one I have is one that you could only find in the UK for extended period, and a friend got it imported from a friend of hers and gave it to me as a birthday gift, and so that is Dark Side Rising. And it's basically straightforward. You're all trying to take down the Empire, a la Darth Vader. He's the big giant Thanos in the middle of the thing, because if you get Marvel or Thanos Rising, that is the same thing. And he's like this big towering thing, and you're trying to take control of certain things, but he's got bad guys that are popping off at the same time, and he's triggering different things as he's rotating. You're trying to roll your dice and locking them to unlock certain things. It's like, I don't want to do this, and my character is really good at this ability, so I can't really go to that location because it needs dice of a color that I'm not rolling, so I need you guys to go take care of that. I got to go over here. I'll go fight this guy because my guy is good about throwing dice. I'm also collecting people into my thing to give me more dice as I'm throwing, and so you're getting more dice to throw, more dice to lock, more dice to unlock, and it is such a fun game, and it's so lucky.
Yeah.
One issue about this game, just one, is the fact that it goes longer than you would expect it to be for a dice rolling game. It is a pretty long game for something that is such a simple dice chucking game. But I do enjoy it, and you can see it's like right there, right above my head, above my stocking right there.
Oh, yeah, there it is. All right.
So my honorable mention, Dark Side Rising.
So my number 2, I'm going to quick call back to how Impact is technically a roll and lock. This one also is, but just like Impact, it's not a heavy strategic game.
You mean Strike?
I do mean Strike. Impact is the North American version before they remade Strike.
Yeah.
But Impact, Strike, same thing, right? It is technically still, but it's not a strategic game. It's just silly fun. This is also that. It's by Scott Alms. It's Martian Dice. And the reason I like this one is because it's super lucky, by the way. Just don't go into it expecting
if you're dealing with dice, you're dealing with luck. It's just...
Yeah, but this is way more luck than most. Because what you're doing is you have 13 dice, you chuck them all at once. Then you just separate them by what they are, either tanks. Tanks get locked no matter what. You need to have at least as many death rays as tanks, which are twice as many faces for those. And then there are cows, chickens, and people. You choose one of those types, and you lock them. And those can never be rolled again. Unless it's death rays, you can continue to keep gathering those. Then you pick up your dice, roll them again. So if I set aside like 3 cows, then that's great. If I set aside 2 more chickens, great, even more. Because everything I abduct is worth 1 point per die. And then if I get a set of all 3, at least 1 human, at least 1 chicken, at least 1 cow, I get a bonus 3 points on top of those. And you're trying to get the most points as you can by pressing your luck. And death rays you have to have at least as many death rays as you have tanks, since those lock automatically. Sometimes you're like, oh, well, I only got 2 tanks this round. I'll pull the 3 or 4 humans to the side first. Now let's reroll, and then you roll like 6 tanks. You're like, good God, I died. Like it's so bad.
I did.
It's so silly, but I love the game a lot. So Martian Dice is my number 2.
All right, my last game I'm going to talk about was also mentioned in the chat over here, one that we just recently played. I found a copy of this. We were doing our big tour of Albuquerque and the northern game stores up there. And this is Dice Town from Bruno Cathala and Ludovic Maublanc. And it's funny because we were talking about it. This is the same group that did Cyclades, the board game. And they did this really simple dice rolling, kind of Liar's Dice-esque, but not really, where you're rolling the dice in a cup and you keep one or pay to keep another. And you're making poker hands out of it. And you're trying to trigger certain areas to get certain abilities. The person with the most money or gold or combined wins. Very simple. You play over a certain amount of rounds. I think it's like when the deck runs out, or if either the money or the gold runs out. Because it's a small economic, and so every time I spend money, it goes to the bank and refreshes, but that's all the cash we're using throughout the game is what we have on hand. So I may have a lot of dollars, and so if I win control of the bank, I may not be getting any money if no one's put in there to keep more dice. But you're always constantly like, I got a chance at a full house right here, so let me do that. I have the chance to have the best hand, so I can get the mayor, which means I can take deeds, that kind of thing. Yeah. So it's a fun little party-esque game. It holds up to 6 players, I believe.
Something like that.
It plays pretty quickly. It plays pretty well. I enjoyed it. It's a small, simple game that plays fast and is just lucky, but it's also quite fun.
Very good.
But my wife doesn't like it for the simple fact that she doesn't know poker hands, so she doesn't know what dice to save and stuff like that.
Which is fair. That's a legit concern.
Yeah.
All right, and the last game I want to talk about is a game that, unlike every single game that we're going to talk about and has been mentioned, this does locking and re-rolling unlike anything else I've ever seen. And this is Under Falling Skies. It's a solo game. And the way it works is...
I still need to play this.
Yeah, it's clever. So the way it works is that it's a dice placement game. So you roll all of your dice, and 2 of the dice have a different color. I think they're red or white or whatever it is, right? 2 of them are unique. And your dice, once you roll them, they stay that number no matter what. So when I place a 2, I place it as the 2. When I place a 3, I place it as a 3. Unless the 2 dice that have different colors on it, if you place one of those, you must re-roll all of your remaining dice.
Gotcha.
So you want to put that in a time where you're like, I can't utilize these numbers anymore. I want to be able to use these in a good way, but they're not helping me. So then I'll put down my red die so I can re-roll everything and hope for the best. But then that might include the other red die to re-rolled. And so you have this cool little tension of like, I want to use this die, but I need to use this number right now. But that's going to re-roll this, and it's such a tough decision. It's so clever, that mechanism. So yeah. Under Falling Skies, it's so neat how that dice and locking and re-rolling. Play it for that alone. That's such a neat, clever mechanism.
Nice. Was this God Ohms as well?
No. This is I don't.
Because this is under the Renegades solo series, right? No. Okay. No.
No, you're thinking
Proving Ground.
Proving Ground. Yes. Yeah. No, this is under. I want to say almost like Portal or something. Like that makes sense. Maybe CGE. I think CGE.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. All right, cool. So let's get into today's debate. Top 8 debate, re-rolling and locking. So the way we do these debates, just so you guys know how we picked it, is we went on BoardGameGeek.com. And if you don't know what that website is, how did you find us? I mean, honestly. But BoardGameGeek.com, great resource. And we choose a mechanism, designer, publisher, whatever, and we organize it by rank. Then we pick the top 8 games that Daniel and I have both played, which were the ones that we listed at the top of the episode or a little bit ago.
Yeah.
And then we debate those college football bracket style, one by one, head to head, through semifinals, quarterfinals, and finals.
Till we find the best.
Till we find the best one. We also debate it based on our 5 gamer criteria, which includes game immersion. Game immersion is the game fun to lose, player interaction, and the memorable moments you have while playing.
Next up is art and production. The art. It is a bit subjective, but we know some art is better than the others.
Yep.
Pieces of components and graphic design. Both of us are colorblind, so we need to be able to see the game and understand what's going on.
Exactly. Our next one is the M in our gamer criteria, which is the meaningful choice. Impact on other players, depth of strategy, tactics, and or skill, and do arbitrary choices or analysis paralysis affect the game in a negative way.
And the E in gamer is ease of play. The simplicity and familiarity of the mechanism. This is going to be hard on this part of it. The likelihood to get to the table based on the mechanism or theme. And is it easy to learn, understand, and or teach? Because those are very big qualifiers.
And our final category, the R in gamer, is replay value. The length of time in scaling well, the minimum number of plays for the full experience, and the expandability, whether it's already existing expansions or confirmed.
And then finally, if we cannot come to a consensus by using everything at our disposal here, we have the fan vote. As I mentioned earlier, you need to go to Board Game Revolution. We always put a post there every time we do a top 8 debate. And by voting on it, you help these move on if we can't come to a consensus.
And each of these rounds, I will flip the coin of doom.
I will pull from the cup of doom.
And we'll get started. You ready?
I'm ready.
Round number 1, this will be Gone Sean Clever, or That's So Clever, versus Bang the Dice Game.
That's
and
pretty clever, not so clever.
Oh, well, whatever.
I'm starting.
Gone Sean. You're starting.
I get Bang.
Okay.
The one I know the least about. Bang the Dice game it's a fun little party game, for that matter, and it was one of the first party games I got introduced to way back in the day. The first time I've ever played this was when we were at the original shop.
Yep.
And when you used to do, I think, game nights on Thursday.
Yeah.
That's when I got introduced to this. Our friend G.A.M.E.R was a big fan of this game. He heard about it through the Dice Tower because everybody knows Sam Healy was a champion for this game. Yep. He picked it up. He played it. I enjoyed it. It has a lot of things that I don't like in here, which could be a detractor when we're doing this topic debate. Yep. One of them is player elimination, because there is a player elimination, and I could be eliminated right out the bat and not play a single round and have to wait till everybody's done. Luckily enough, it was at a shop, so I can just go start into another game. But at the time, if you're playing this in a big group and stuff like that, and that player elimination happens, that is a problem. But the fact that it has pieces and components through the roof, it's got good card stock, it has dice, what's the word I'm looking for here? Custom dice, there we go. For some reason, I had a brain fart. But it had like fantastic custom dice because it has like arrows and bullets and different stuff. And you're re-rolling and locking. It's dynamite you cannot re-roll. So if you roll a dynamite and roll 3 of them, that's going to stop your turn. You're going to take a damage. And then you could trigger whatever you have. And then it just has a lot of really cool push and pull aspect of it. It's based off Bang the card game. I remember that one. And it's just a much simpler, much quicker, more party-esque version. And it's like teams in a sense, because there's outlaw teams and then there's the sheriff, and he has hidden deputies, it's hidden roles. It has a lot going for it, and it's just a simple little party game. So you mix up like stuff like Spyfall, social deduction games like Avalon and stuff like that, and you throw it into a Yahtzee style chuck dice and just joke and laugh at the table. That's really what it hits. It has a couple expansions, so it hits the replay value. It's very simple. It's like, this is your roll. Don't tell anybody what your roll is. You roll these dice. You trigger these abilities. If you roll 3 dynamite, you bust. Yep. Very simple on that aspect of it. Is there meaningful choices? Just as much as you get in these other games, because it's, again, it is lucky. There is going to be some luck involved when you're rolling dice, and not a lot of mitigation, because your mitigation is, hey, I get to re-roll these dice. Yep. But other than that, there's a lot of decent choices on here. The art production's done really well. The game immersion actually is pretty good, because if you really get into that role-playing where, like, I'm the sheriff, and I'm like, I think you're an outlaw, so I'm going to book on you because I don't trust you. You look very shady over there. Yep. That kind of aspect. And the thing is, like, yes, there's player elimination, but it also plays pretty quickly that you can run it back a couple times and everybody else can try something else. So it is a very neat game for what it is. It is our 8th seed for a reason.
Yep. All right. Gonchon Clever, or that, what is it called? That's
pretty clever.
Okay. So that title is very apt because of what it's trying to do. One of the big things about it that makes the players feel clever is you're recruiting these dice and you're applying them towards one of their colored sections and stuff. Essentially, you roll it and everyone can use it, but there is some re-rolling, some mitigation. But the dice that you draft, the one that you pick to put on your board, you're going to be putting in one of the colored sections based on the color of the die. Each of those sections scores in different ways and also has a different mechanism where you could potentially re-roll other stuff, or more importantly, you can combo other markings on other sections of the dice. Yeah. There's a lot of combo-tastic like aspects of it, and people really, really appreciate that aspect of the game, is knowing that when I do this thing, that means I can trigger this spot, which will trigger this spot, and boom, 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 boom. And that's something that, like, when shown in a game done properly, very gratifying.
There is one thing you forgot to mention, that what makes this game pretty clever. When you draft a dice, depending on the number of the dice, say if I draft a 3, that anything below that 3 gets put on the silver platter and I can't draft from it.
Oh, yeah.
That is the big thing, too, is like, if I draft a 3, anything below that I can't draft. It's not access for me to draft.
Yep.
So exactly. I thought that was pretty neat, too. It's like, man, I really could use that 3, but that locks away 4 dice for me, which gives the other players at the table more options.
Yep. Exactly, because they're going to be choosing off of that platter.
That silver platter, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, it works really well. There's a great app integration version of it. If you haven't tried it, you see why it's there. Honestly, I mean, just because of the... So, one of the lovely parts about Bang the Dice game, and one of the reasons why it's so lauded well... is
especially
because,
for how old it is, too.
Yeah, is because, like, the card game, even though it had random card pulls, you were still... like you could still control it where you didn't attack other people to make it obvious who you were or weren't. The dice game, you don't have that option, which is actually in its benefit, because it's like, well, I have to shoot somebody with the arrow. I'm sorry, it's not my choice. I totally would stop there. Like
I would have chosen you anyway.
I would have chosen you anyway, but that's beside the point. That makes that tension in it, whereas Ganchan Clever just makes you feel that level of cleverness because they're comboing one thing to another. So that's why I got to go with Ganchan Clever. I think moves on.
I think Ganchan Clever moves on as well. I think it's just because, one, it's much easier to teach than Bang the Dice Game because of all the different variabilities that happens.
Yeah.
Though Bang is not hard. I think where Bang really shines is in the art and production because of the custom dice and the artwork in the game and stuff like that. And I guess replay value because it does have expansions.
There's a boatload of expansions, yes.
But other than that, I think the other three go to. That's pretty clever.
All right, sounds good. So our next round will be Tiny Epic Galaxies versus our number 7 seed, Elder Sign. You ready?
Yep. I just got to put them in here.
I'll be starting this one off.
All right, pulling from the Cup of Doom. You get Tiny Epic Galaxies.
Let's go, Tiny Epic Galaxies. Let me tell you why this is good.
This is your bracket right here. So.
Yeah, this is my bracket. I mean, don't get me wrong. I really like Elder Sign. I almost probably like this better because before I get into my rant about Tiny Epic Galaxies and why I think it should probably move on, the thing is with Elder Sign, it uses a mechanism that I absolutely love, is that you have to lock at least one die every single turn. And this was also seen in Age of War, which is one of my just favorite, like, little simple Reiner Kenichi.
Surprised it says it wasn't on your list, your honorable mention list.
I did, but I won the promotion dice instead. But I did, because that was the first one that it came to mind, because you can lock as many dice as you want.
Is it because you just started playing the rule right on Age of War?
I already loved it before I played it right. I enjoyed it before it was cool, man. I'm a hipster of dice over here.
I just had to throw you under the bus.
Yeah. And so, but Elder Sign doing that in a cooperative mode, first off, I mean, press your dice games in a cooperative mode. Really, Hot Shots from Fireside Games should be on here for that same reason, right? It's such a tension-filled mechanism that works really well, where you're like, guys, should I re-roll this? It's like, if I were you, I would. But I would also roll like crap because I'm you. So, no. But we should.
Poor G.A.M.E.R.
But I'm going to blame you. Right. Exactly. Like, that tension, it's like, judging by how you've been rolling, we don't want to die. And I love that tension. Elder Sign
don't let him roll for fire. Not him. Right. G.A.M.E.R. Geek. Don't let G.A.M.E.R. Geek roll for fire.
And so, Tiny Epic Galaxies, what makes that really clever is that I know, that's pretty clever. You're rolling these dice. Each of the 6 symbols have different mechanisms. You can either go orbit a planet, or settle on it, or activate your colonies, or get energy, or get whatever the follow mechanism is called. I don't remember the name of it. It's like a little pillar symbol. You have all of these different symbols. No, it's actually called something. Diplomacy or something like that. But anyway, you have all these different symbols. We're not talking about that game. You have all these different symbols that you're rolling. And you can continue to re-roll them. That's what the energy is for. So you could lock some, re-roll some of your dice with the energy. That's totally fine. And that's also a resource that you can use for some of it. That as you settle these planets and gain them as your abilities by orbiting them, you're actually able to utilize those abilities more later on. And that's needed for victory points. So you have engine building on top of the dice rolling. And one of my favorite mechanisms is when you have that follow action, is when I roll my dice and I do an action, I'm like, all right, I'll do a colony one. Everyone else has a chance to be like, all right, I'll follow that, and then just copy it because they can, because that's a resource that's available. It's kind of like a wild, but it gives the agency to players on opposite turns, which is really great. There's a reason this one is considered like the best of the Tiny Epic series. There's been like 14 games in that series right now, and this is still hands down like the best one.
I thought you preferred Ultra Tiny Epic Galaxies compared to this one.
Rolling little wooden cubes. Sure, I prefer that. I mean, I do own it. Because why not? It was like $8. Why not, right?
So here's my thing for both of these games. For as simple as these games are, and for how tiny footprints these board games are, both of these have a small footprint. One comes in a bigger box, which I think Tiny Epic should come in. They take longer than you would expect for their size. Both of these games are not short by any means.
Nope.
I can play probably Elder Sign quicker than Tiny Epic Galaxies because I'm rolling trash and it's co-op. Yeah. So I could probably lose a lot quicker than I could in Tiny Epic Galaxies.
It wouldn't be by choice that we would lose quickly. Yeah.
I have to argue for Elder Sign.
Yep.
I do love the mess out of this game. In fact, it's one of my favorite games to play around Halloween. I'm sad I didn't get it during my Halloween season, so I probably will pick it up like in January or something like that just to play it because I haven't played it in such a long while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, mind you, I haven't played Game Night. When you're hearing this, I'll finally meet up with my other game group for the first time in like 6 weeks. So because it's just been very busy. Mm-hmm. We went to a con and everything. She has cons. My wife travels for her job. It's just we couldn't get together. But everything about Elder Sign sings to me. It gives that Yahtzee mechanism where you have your dice. You always have to lock one. In its different locations, your character has to be on a certain location for you to do it. But hey, guess what? If I'm on the same location as my wife who's there, I can lock a dice on her and hopefully use it for... because I'm in a location that I have to do everything in order. So if I lock a dice on her, then that's fine. I can help and save there. She's helping me out. And then I re-roll my dice. Okay, cool. I unlock the first part. I'll do this. And then I'm going to move that dice over here after I do my re-roll because I'm like, okay, now I have that. I'm moving these dice here. That unlocks that. Now I just got to get lucky over here. All right, I rolled it. I unlocked this location. We saved this location. Now I got a trophy. And you got to keep doing that until you get a multiple amount of Elder Signs. The artwork in this game is fantastic. Yep. The production value is pretty good other than the itty-bitty little chintzy player tokens. That is the only issue I have.
They're that big.
They're so tiny for the player tokens. Yeah. And it's like, couldn't you just give me like a little standee or something?
So, you know what's great? There's somebody who designed a 3D model where it's like a little Necronomicon and like it's like a pentagram like
for hold the dice
to hold the dice in it, and that you can print it out in different colors. And that whoever designed that,
that's awesome. But you have to print it out. You have to use your own stuff. It doesn't come in the game. But I think Elder Sign should move on, though I liked Tiny Epic Galaxies. And so for me, it's the replay value. There is how many expansions in Elder Sign?
Yep, that's fair. There's only a handful for Tiny Epic. I give you
both of them are long.
Tiny Epic Galaxy is a lot quicker than Elder Sign. Elder Sign is a long game.
It can be, depending on the player count. And the same thing with Tiny Epic Galaxies. Because I could play Elder Sign in 45 minutes if it's just 2 to 3 players. Tiny Epic Galaxies, if I'm playing 2 to 3 players, it's going to be maybe 45. About the same.
Okay,
so it's just player count.
We'll give that to Elder Sign then because it can go up to like 6 or 8 players or something like that. Like it's just a large span.
It can go to a large span.
Okay. So
and it has the timer so like everybody's doing a Mythos phase, so it's going to run it closer to the end because of the co-op nature of it.
Okay.
It's like if we keep drawing the bad cards in Pandemic, if we're playing at the hardest mode and drawing 6 cards out. So I give replay value to Elder Sign. I give ease of play to Elder Sign as well because it's basically just Yahtzee mechanism compared to... because you have to... There's a lot of nuances in Tiny Epic Galaxy when it comes to ease of play.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of extra stuff on Elder Sign too. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but like it's just like those extra item cards, the effects that all of the things and the Elder like apply to you throughout your playing. There's multiple different ways to lose. There's extra rules you have to take in consideration. I don't think like Tiny Epic Galaxies is simpler because 2 of the things is you go up on a chart. The other thing is you go to a planet in 1 or 2 different ways. So that's like 2/3 of the dice right there.
Yeah, I can't give that to you because my wife has seen both of these games, and I could grok Elder Sign to her more because she'll check out if there's a shit ton of rolls. And excuse my language on that one.
Family shit. How dare you, sir? It's such a festive time of year. How dare you?
Butt ton of rolls for her, and it's when there's a lot of rolls, she'll check out.
Right,
but there's more rules in Elder Signs because there's a lot more nuances. When do I follow? When do I do this?
I agree.
When do I do that?
Elder Sign has more rules.
Elder Sign does not have more rules.
You just said that.
No, I said Galaxies has more rules.
No, you said Elder Sign.
Well, maybe I meant Galaxies.
You meant Galaxies, but yeah, you said Elder Sign. All right, so let's just go by the dice rolling mechanism, regardless of everything else. Okay. Right? You have
simplicity and familiarity of the mechanism.
Roll a die and lock at least 1. That's a Farkle mechanism, right? Yeah. More or less. Okay, and then Tiny Epic Galaxies, you roll the dice and you just use them as their faces, unless you spend a resource to reroll them.
Yes, and
do we once want to call that a wash?
I call that a wash because
that factor's a wash.
Most people is like, you've played Farco or Yahtzee. This is how this works. If you played,
okay, so likelihood to understand or get to the table.
Likelihood to get to the table, Elder Signs. Anything sci-fi, like, yeah, I'm into it, but I know a lot of people who will check out if it's sci-fi.
But a lot of people are really dislike H.P. Lovecraft, and not unrightfully so.
True. So, again, that's a wash for me.
We'll call it a wash. Okay, fair enough. Easy to understand, learn, and teach. Okay, let's just call it a wash.
He's a play wash.
Yeah, like, honestly, like, because
you're not going to budge, I'm not going to budge. So.
Okay, fine. Easy play is a wash.
Game immersion. I find Elder Sign more fun to lose. I feel more clever sometimes in Tiny Epic Galaxies if I get lucky. Yeah. This is my issue. Is like, if I don't have the ability to follow, like, I'm not getting that resource whatsoever, and it's happened to me before in this game where, like, I can't follow because I'm only going up 2 or so on that track because I'm not rolling it, and I can't get something that gives me that ability to go up more. There's could be a possibility where I'm not doing that, and I have to just wait on my turn to possibly do something.
Sure.
So, Elder Sign, I am invested on other people's turn. It's like, hey, I'm going over there to help you so you can put something on my face.
Let's put it right here.
There you go. I can help you out over here. You and me can work as a team, take care of that. You two go over there and take care of that one because you're better at that stuff. Because you have the green die now, or you have the red die that can do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I think game immersion for me is Elder Sign because it has those player interactions.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
I agree
I
with
do
that.
know Tiny Epic Galaxy also has those good memorable moments when you get that engine going, but it's so few and far between.
Yeah, I feel like more so like it because of the co-op nature of it, the memorable moments really brings it out better in Elder Sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I agree with game immersion.
I will say this.
Okay.
As much as I like the art in the Elder Sign, as much as I love how it looks, I give art and production to Tiny Epic Galaxies. The art is fantastic in Elder Sign, but the pieces and components and the graphic design, much more readable. There is a lot of text, tiny text in Elder Sign, and they have tarot cards, and there's still a lot of tiny text. It's like, I'm old now. I'm over 40. My eyes hurt when I'm like, what does that say again?
Yep. Okay. So in production, Tiny Epic Galaxies?
Tiny Epic Galaxies.
I agree with that. A meaningful choice.
Yeah, meaningful choice. And this is where, since we're calling Easy Play a wash, I think to me we have to go to the tiebreaker.
Well, let's go through it real quick.
No. I can tell you, impact on other players. Yeah, you're a co-op.
Yeah.
But you really can impact if you go after a planet somebody has or wants to conquer, and you get to them first. There's that aspect of it as well. You will impact other players.
Yep, absolutely.
And also, hey, and you're doing that action, I can follow you.
I want to do that too. That sounds cool. Yeah, okay, that's way more impact. You're right. All right, depth of strategy, tactics, or skills. I think that's more an Elder Sign.
Not really.
To an extent. I mean, that's true. You are also beholden to the dice rolls and how.
And then there's certain times where like the noodles come out and you have to take care of the you have to deal with the noodles.
Okay, fair enough. And then arbitrary choices.
Here's the thing. There's arbitrary choices in other signs, but there's AP in Tiny Epic Galaxies.
Yeah. Yeah, but I would say arbitrary choices in Elder Sign
is more of an issue.
More of an issue.
Yeah, because you could just roll bad and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
You have very few mitigation abilities.
Because here's the thing. In Elder Sign, if I roll bad, that sucks for everyone. Mm-hmm. In Tiny Epic Galaxies, if I roll bad, that sucks for me.
Yes.
Not for everybody else. In fact, they might even still be able to benefit better than I am by following my actions than I can.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious when that happens. So, yeah, okay. Tiny Epic Galaxies, let's send it to
it's 2-2 because we're calling Easy Play a wash. Going to the tiebreaker. I am looking at the games here.
Yep. Elder Sign versus Tiny Epic Galaxies.
Tiny Epic Galaxies had 12% of the vote, and Elder Sign had 7%. So Tiny Epic moves on.
Fair enough. See, I told you I should have moved on.
No, I don't.
Thank you for the 5% of voters who agreed on that aspect, right? All right, our next round is going to be our number 3 seed, King of Tokyo, versus our number 6 seed, Dice Throne, and I'll be starting us off.
I know which one you want.
Yep. I have one that I'm much bigger fan of.
I actually am okay with both these.
I like them both. They're both fine.
It's funny
one that I really like.
One, I prefer the co-op version of it, and one, I prefer the head-to-head version of it, because both have head-to-head and co-op versions.
Yep. Yep.
And you get your favorite.
All right, Dice Throne. So, let me tell you why Dice Throne needs to move on. It really does. First off, don't even try and talk to me about, like, art and production. Like, that is, hands down, that is Dice Throne. Beautiful production. Amazing art. Like, they've gone through a lot of iterations. They have art so nice they could do alternate art versions of the same thing, and people are clamoring over it.
I also think
beautiful.
We should do somewhere put price point on this list because...
Nope, that's never been a factor before.
I'm just saying, because one of these is way more expensive.
No, the base game of Dice Throne
now
is $50. No, it's $50 coming out. 4 players, $50. That is the same as King of Tokyo. That was with the trays, with the game trays in it.
Now you can get them for $30. So
yeah, now you can get the much simpler version.
2?
No, it still has 4. It doesn't have like game trays.
It doesn't have the really nice stuff.
The fancy stuff. It has a mat instead of the foldy board and all that stuff. Foldy boards are.
I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm just like, price point. Both of these games are pretty expensive for what they are, and it's mainly because of the dice.
Yeah, the dice are nice.
The dice are very nice. It's just that's why they're expensive.
Yeah, except King of Tokyo, there's 8 dice, and then a 4-pack of Dice Throne. There is 5-6 dice per player.
That's 24.
Yep.
Yeah, 24. Yeah.
24 dice. Yep.
Yep.
So I don't want to hear it. Anyway, so
yes, but they're nice and chunky in King of Tokyo, where they're teeny little bit of die in Dice Throne.
You have 4 times as many. You can put 4 together, and it's fine. No, I mean art and production. That's without a doubt.
I don't disagree with you. I just wanted to give you a little grief about it.
Here's the thing: they're both Yahtzee, right?
They really are. You get 3 dice. You lock how much you want. Yeah. There's no bad thing that's going to happen for you.
King of Tokyo is really one person is the king of the hill. Maybe 2 if you have 5 or 6 players.
That's the thing.
And then. It's real simple Yahtzee. You're either getting some points in half of the sides of the dice, you're either dealing attack, healing up, or getting energy cubes and getting some abilities. Whereas Dice Throne, yes, it's more complicated. It's a head-to-head battle or game. It's like Magic the Gathering meets Yahtzee, and it works really well. Every character works entirely different.
You remember Battle Yahtzee? That's Dice Throne with a little more steps.
And better.
Much better, yeah.
Way better.
Well, much more rules.
Yeah. Well, no, it's still really better because...
No, I'm saying, but there's more rules, but they're understandable.
Yeah, they're there for a reason. And I like the way that they distribute. This is one of the coolest parts about like why it's so meaningful to play Dice Throne, is because like you might have different distributions of symbols on your dice, because each character has their own custom dice. And that matters really a lot, because like I might have a character with like the numbers 1, 2, and 3 are all the same symbol, then 4 and 5 are the same symbol, then 6 is like a unique crit symbol. Whereas I might have another character where it's 2, 2, and 2, or all unique symbols, or whatever, right? And each different combination.
I think all of them still have 1, 2, and 3 because you have the straight ability, don't you? No, okay.
No, you can still do. They still have the numbers. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. They all have the same numbers. Yeah.
But the different symbols are totally different.
Yeah. That much I knew.
Which is so cool, like to add that extra little caveat to the game.
Yeah.
I love that aspect of it, and like. Because some of them are based on the symbols. It's like, well, as long as you roll like 3 of the symbols that are prevalent on 1, 2, or 3, I have 50-50 chance on each of the dice, right? You have cards that manipulate it. You have abilities that get better. You have different mechanisms for the characters. They all feel different, and they're all super balanced. They're really powerful how they work. So
you can tell he's a fan that's not taking his bias out of this
at all. I love Dice Throne. I really like this game. I think it's just one of the
fine with it.
2-player battle games.
That's the key. It's a 2-player battle.
If you don't like that, this ain't gonna fool you.
And it's not just that. Like you could play it with like as a tag team for 2v2.
Yeah.
You can play it as a free for all sort of like, especially when you do 3 players. However, it just doesn't work as well unless it's 1v1.
Yeah. There's also a co-op version where you can do like an adventure dungeon crawl kind of thing. So that's cool. That's cool. And then they also have Marvel. They also have, different like all X-Men, of course, right?
They have the Marvel and then
they are compatible with the originals, which is dope. So you can fight Spider-Man versus the Gunslinger, which is crazy to think about, which is super fun always. When you can do stuff that's in property and out of property and still like...
I mean, it's neat. I don't disagree with
that. So, replay value, I think, is the obvious one that goes with it. Art and production goes with Dice Throne, obviously. Now, I will give credit to the co-op version of King of Tokyo. That is my personal favorite, King of Monster Island. Love it. Very good stuff.
It's better than the co-op version of Dice Throne.
Yeah. Now, and
it
so
plays
here's
quicker
the thing.
too.
Before we get into like the other parts, I do wanted to throw one shade at King of Tokyo and why I don't think it should move on. The fact that it has 100 characters means nothing for its replay value. No, I don't care what you say about. They don't have their own unique abilities.
Here's the thing:
the vast majority of them are just different standees.
They do have their own abilities because of an expansion gave them abilities, and some of those characters that you can get don't have cards in that expansion, so they don't get special abilities. They're just a nice little standee for you to look at.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're like, oh, there's lots of replay value. No, there's not. There's collectivity on it. That's what it is. Yeah. Every character in Dice Throne plays differently. So, I secede my stand. It is now your turn. I apologize.
Yeah, you just took like 30 minutes on Dice Throne alone.
I love me some Dice Throne.
Yeah. Again, we're supposed to take our bias out of this, and he won't do it.
No, I'm just saying. I think it should move on because I think it's significantly a better game.
I will say this
about
King of Tokyo. What I like about it too. I like it more in game immersion for the simple fact that because it lends itself to more memorable moments at a larger player count. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some fantastic memorable moments. Each of these characters play really, really well in Dice Throne. Mm-hmm. But the fact is, like, and we talked about it when we talked about our Chits and Giggles Thankful games. When I talked about King of Tokyo and how me and Gamehead Geek became friends because I had the detachable tail for Gigazor. It led to that. We were having a blast. Everybody was staring at us at the comic shop because we were doing what we talk about here, where it makes you stand up, makes you shout, makes everybody look at you because you're having a blast. Mm-hmm. Dice Throne does that. You feel clever, but it doesn't do it at this kind of setting because King of Tokyo out of the box can play up to 6, I think, and so which is fantastic. I never want to place Dice Throne at 6 players. No, never. Especially when you're doing like a 3 versus 3, that is going to take forever before I even get my next turn.
Yeah, I don't even think I don't even think the rules say that
you can. But I'm saying I've seen people do it like at conventions and stuff like that.
If there's enough our upcoming convention, I'm probably
there's enough characters to do it. Yep. And I think King of Tokyo is a little bit more fun to lose. And it's funny because we talk about like expansions and stuff like that. The King of New York.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. I was like, oh, this is the more gamey version of it. I have not touched it. I've gone back to King of Tokyo several times. Yeah. I play King of Monster Island quite a bit because you and Gamehead Geek both own it.
Yeah.
I won't touch King of New York anymore.
No, because it's King of Tokyo with more rules.
more rules. It is. Yeah, the army could win. The first time I ever played King of New York, everybody died and the army won because it took everybody out.
Yeah.
I like King of Tokyo for game immersion. I like King of Tokyo somewhat for art production. I think Yellow did a really good thing.
Sure.
But here's my thing. You mentioned it. The price point on this is ridiculous for cardboard standees.
Yes.
In some chunky, cool dice where I can buy the better looking dice on a separate pack, the yellow greenish ones.
Yep.
And all you get is the basic little cubes for energy. It's like, you're not really going out of the way.
They look tasty. Don't eat them. Don't eat them.
And my other issue when it comes to yellow on this one, what is King of Tokyo Dark? Why do we need it? It's done nothing for King of Tokyo other than give you another game to play that has a lot of the same characters that you can get in basic King of Tokyo. It's just black. It's really all it is. You're playing at night now. It's a cash grab if I ever saw one.
Yep.
The graphic design are done well for both of these games. I love the small board in King of Tokyo. I love the fact that you don't need a board. You have your little fold-out boards, and there's no middle board. You're just like, I do this to you, I do that to you. Mm-hmm. I also like the fact in Dice Throne that it tells you, hey, if you're new to this game, play these characters. They're much more simple for you to grok. If you're experienced, go for these characters. They're harder, but if you figure them out, you're going to have a blast doing that. And I like that aspect. King of Tokyo, I'm chucking dice. That's all I'm doing. Yep. There's no mitigation unless you have certain ability cards.
Right.
But I do like the fact that King of Tokyo, it's a race to 20 points or everybody dies.
Yep. Yep. That's cool.
That's cool. We just recently played it on Board Game Arena. They have a good implementation on there.
Yeah.
I had a blast doing it, but honestly, I don't disagree with you. I just had to give you grief about your bias. I think Dice Throne moves on as well.
Yeah.
It hits everything.
We actually broke it down, right?
Yeah.
Like
art production, meaningful choice. Ease of play, I think King of Tokyo gets that one. Because it's such simple dice rolls. But here's my thing about Dice Throne. And the difference between King of Tokyo and why I think for sure it gets meaningful choice, and I wanted to mention this. I'm beholden to the throw on King of Tokyo. There's no mitigation on there. It's like I either get the claws, and then I can choose to either keep claws, or I can choose to keep energy, or I can try to get points based on the number system. I can choose to try to get the things I need to get over here, but then if I'm able to still roll those numbers, I can like, oh, I didn't get what I wanted, but I can still hit a small straight, so I can still do something to you. There's not an empty turn.
Right.
So there is some ability to you still having that mitigation aspect. So I think Dice Throne needs that role or that love as well, because it's like, hey, you're not rolling really well, you're still able to access some powers. So and because that happens to me a lot in Dice Throne, I don't roll really well, but I'm like, I'm just gonna pot shot you until I can't.
Yeah, and oftentimes you'll roll like all your dice, and there'll be a combination where you're like, okay, I already have like the small one. But if I re-roll this and risk not getting anything, I could get something really awesome if I pull this off.
Yeah.
And then, but that's on you, right?
Yeah.
It's not an all or nothing. It's like, I already got something. But do I want to risk it to try and get something bigger?
Yeah. Or my personal favorite is like, oh, I'm so close. Do I go for the Yahtzee? Do I do it? I'm so close to get my special ability where you need to get your Yahtzee. Oh, that when you do hit it, though, you feel really cool. It's like, yeah!
And not just a normal Yahtzee. It's a Yahtzee of all sixes.
Yeah.
You have to but there's so many cards and so many abilities that'll let you do it, but it's so powerful when it happens.
It's so cool. And you feel so cool when you do it, because it's like, I got to hit my mega ability. It's probably the only cool thing I'm going to do this entire game because I got lucky, but
And also like the extra tokens that you get, like that will let you change your abilities or chain things together or affect the other players like in different ways. And Dice Throne is dope.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
All right, our next round is going to be Cubitos versus Pandemic the Cure. I'll be starting this one off.
All right, you get Pandemic the Cure.
Okay, so Pandemic the Cure
Good, because you remember this a little bit more than I do.
I do. This is essentially the dice version of Pandemic, and oh my goodness, the production on this is beautiful. Both of these games have just an insane amount of dice, honestly, and they're all custom dice too. Pandemic has slightly larger dice that are all custom, sometimes with pips, and you have 6 different areas. Those represent the different continents. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be rolling those dice, infecting them, but then using your action dice as your characters or as your specialists to be able to pull out actions by moving your pieces around to different areas, or removing disease dice, trying to collect a certain number of samples.
Well, you weren't wrong when you said cube.
Because
they're cubes,
cubes, right? And getting a certain number of them to find cures. So you have to like isolate certain numbers away or certain colors to get the cures in order to solve it. This has the same mechanism that we talked about earlier, where you can re-roll as many times as you want, but any biohazard symbols you have to set aside. Mm-hmm. And those are negative for you. Or at least doesn't affect very much. Those can potentially increase the biohazard track, which is a way to lose, or there's ways where there's outbreaks. If too many of those come in, that's a way to lose as well. Every character has their own abilities, their own custom dice, which generally are about the same dice, but I like how the different dice for the different characters also have different distributions of symbols that are on it. Like, I might be like an air traffic controlman, and I can like jump around like crazy, and I have more airplanes on my dice. Or I might be an immune specialist, like a medic, where I have a lot of the treat dices, and so you have all these different cool actions on them. Now, I mean, it's a brilliant production. I think this is honestly, personally, like, even though it's rated high, I don't hear people talking about it anymore. I still have my copy. I love it. I think it's a fantastic game, personally. Great production. Beautiful, like, custom dice, and I don't remember it being all that much more expensive than the original game. I think it was like $10 more originally.
Yeah. Well, it's because of all the dice.
Yeah. And like $50, and it's like, there's like almost like 150 dice in it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I'm not going to say that I think it should move on yet. I think they're pretty evenly matched, because I do also really like Cubitos. So let's hear it.
Well, my one thing about Pandemic the Cure is it's not even the best Pandemic dice game.
Oh, you like Rapid Response?
I like Rapid Response a lot more.
Yeah, that's polarizing, though.
I know.
Polarizing. because it's a real time. Which, don't get me wrong, we like.
I enjoy some real time. Yeah, I get why people don't like it. Yeah, but it's also clean Klinko too.
Yeah, which you should be on our podcast, man.
All right, so I have to argue Cubitos. I like Cubitos more than Pandemic, especially after we're a few years after the a pandemic, but people are still very hesitant to deal with anything that deals with the pandemic. But Cubitos, man, everybody loves racing games. Yep. And I had a blast when we played this one. I like it. You have your dice. You can re-roll them a certain amount of times. I can't remember what's the thing that forces them to lock, because you can roll as much as you can. You can chuck them as much as you can. Mm-hmm. But your whole goal is to be the first one across the finish line.
You can set aside any of your dice, and you can choose to re-roll, and if your re-roll is all blanks, then you bust.
Yeah, that's what it is. I remember there was a reason that there was a bust in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that you're rolling your dice. You can get better dice in your pool based on certain things that you're doing. Depending on how far you're out on the board, you can get certain things to help you out as well. You have all these different characters that do certain different things. Yeah. I enjoy the mess out of it. I remember us yelling at each other when we're talking about like Pandemic or the Cure, and when we talk about like the memorable moments and stuff like that. I don't remember any memorable moment in that game other than like, oh, that's kind of cool. I have a decent ability. Yeah. I remember us yelling, dude, you just cut me off. What the hell? I'm like, I had to get on that inside track before I could get around that curve over here. It's just, right? I remember enjoying the mess out. John DeClaire did a really good job on this one. AEG, if I remember correctly. Yes. It is a fantastic game. There's been a couple expansions for this one now, right? Cubitos?
Yeah, I think so.
One or two.
There's definitely one.
Yeah.
I think they did a Kickstarter for a second one.
Second one, yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, no, because the second one was part of like the grouping of expansions that they did all at once. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I enjoy the mess out of Cubitos. I love the artwork of Cubitos because it's like just little cubes, different cube things, like a cube duck. So yeah, no, I like the art and production a little bit better. I do love the meaningful choice because that whole making sure you don't bust. And making you're like, okay, I'm going to go to this track because if I hit this symbol over here, this flag over here, I collected another flag now. So I like that aspect of which that push and pull. Do I take the inside track to try to beat you into the race? Or do I hit here and get this flag because that's going to help me do something later on down the line? Pandemic the Cure is probably a little bit easier. But not too much. Straightforward with the dice rolling and just choosing when you want to re-roll or not. Or in busting. Yeah. So, but both of these games have basically the same mechanism. You roll as much as you want until you bust.
Yep.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then replay value, I think Kubutos win that one. So, do you want to break this down real quick? Or
yeah. There's one thing that I think art and production should go to Pandemic the Cure for one main reason. If you look at the box of Cubitos, you tell me how that tells you it's racing. It's not. It's a orange sponge and lederhosen. So that doesn't make sense. None of that makes sense. There's no lore behind it. It's just a single card that they like the art on it. They're like, put it on the cover. And I really think that cover does it a disservice, personally. Like, I feel like it should have been like dice, like characters running like across the finish line. It should have been like more...
no, I don't disagree. Obvious. I don't disagree.
That's my biggest complaint. And then also...
But then again, if I remember correctly, AG also did Tiny Towns. Did you know that was anthropomorphic animals?
No.
So that's just a thing they do.
We adore your games. Step it up on those covers, right? Yeah, but anyway, that's art production. I think goes to Pandemic the Cure because it's very clearly what it is, and I like all of the pieces are plastic. All of them are really clear. And as much as I like the dice, like the art and production, here's like a bad part about the Cubitos thing. Lots of dice, lots of ones. The boxes that they come in show all the dice faces, which is great. But the boxes like fall apart because of the way the tuck box thing works.
Did you have to 3D print something? Or?
No, I taped all mine.
Yeah,
I taped all of them in, and that'll keep it more solid.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. But they also wanted to keep the price point down because of all the dice.
Right. Exactly.
It's that push and pull aspect. I mean, I know we don't really talk about price, but that's the one thing about it because this has a lot of dice. Yep. It is probably the game with the most dice, other than Dice Throne, but that's just multiple expansions.
The Cure, like, I don't think you remember how many dice there were.
I remember there's a lot.
Dice.
Yeah, there's a lot of dice in there, but I'm talking about, like, you have, like,
these are the only two games that are competing against for quality. But art and production, I think, just that knocks Cubitos. But other than that, game immersion, they're both fun to lose. Like that, but I really feel like the shenanigans are more prevalent in
Cubitos,
yeah. There's not so much those memorable moments, although it does escalate the same way Pandemic does, and it works really well how that works. Yeah, I agree. It's not as memorable.
But then again, when you're also doing Pandemic, there is some table talk, really, again, Sky Teams is more of a memorable moment dice game than Pandemic the Cure is.
Sure, yeah.
And that's the thing, is like you feel more anxiety and stuff like that. Pandemic, I mean, it's there, but we have that player interaction, Caputos. I cut you off, or I took a flag from you. I'm the first one over here. Oh, I won the race. Haha, suckers.
Yeah.
I kind of did because I took the inside track and I just booked it, and you guys are like, oh, God. Oh, God.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I think game immersion goes to
Cubitos.
Yeah.
Art production, Pandemic. Okay. Meaningful choice?
Pandemic.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
It's more strategic and it's less beholden. Yeah, that's just how it is. The blank sides of the dice, while they're hilarious and they're fun and they're risky and exciting, they can hose you so easily.
Yeah, they can.
No. Ease of play. I don't know.
Replay value, I pick Cubitos because there is expansions.
There is for the Cure too.
But it also plays quicker too, Cubitos. Pandemic could go a while, because I remember at 2 players we were playing that game for a while.
Okay. Yeah,
I remember that.
I think they're about the same.
Especially after, I think we played that one, and we also played Rapid Response, and that one just plays so quickly because it's real time.
Well, remember also, Cubitos, until you build your engine, the first third of the game is 2/3 of the game.
Yeah.
It's... Once you get past the halfway mark, you're just 2 rolls away from winning, right? That's just how that works out. I think they're about the same, though.
I still say replay value goes to Cubitos, just because I think it plays quicker. In my mind, that's just what I'm feeling, because I've played it. I played it both player counts at 3, so...
Well, Pandemic the Cure can go really fast, remember, if we play with you.
No, it's Gamehead Geek you got to worry about when it comes to dice rolling.
Either way, our game group, we're screwed.
We're screwed. Yeah, pretty much. But for me, just in my mind, I remember Cubitos went a little bit. Yeah, the first round was really quick, but then it just ramped up.
Fine, we'll give it to Cubitos, whatever. It's all good. So 2 and 2, and then ease of play is the last one? Mm-hmm. Is that what it is? Okay, which one's easier to play? Co-op is always inherently easier.
Easier, but also you're dealing with dice rolling too.
Yeah.
Which is easier for you to teach? That is a question. I personally think Cubitos.
Probably Cubitos. Yeah, because the thing is, the footsteps, you know what that means. You move.
Move, yeah.
Coins, you know what that means. You buy.
Yeah.
All of those are pretty simple.
Blanks are bad.
Blanks are bad. Whereas you have all of these different action symbols that you're using with your characters. Granted, your characters, there's more meaningful choice in it, but yeah, it's harder to teach just because of the fact that, even though it's cooperative and we're all working together, your actions are dependent on what you roll, and it's dependent on your character as well.
And how well you can mitigate that kind of thing. Yeah. So for me, I think ease of play goes to Cubito, because one, I think it's simpler. The only issue is when it comes to likelihood to get to the table, both have something that knocks them on that one. Cubitos don't tell you what the game is.
Yeah, you have no idea what you're getting into.
Pandemic the Cure is a pandemic game, and some people don't want to touch that right now.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
All right, Cubitos?
Cubitos. So Cubitos moves on. All right. So now, that was it for the first round. First full set of rounds. Our quarterfinals. 4 games were eliminated. Daniel, tell us, what were the voting totals?
I didn't write this out. My bad.
That's fine. We can look at it.
All right. So the first game eliminated was Bang the Dice Game. Bang the Dice Game had 2 or 3% of the vote.
Yep.
Next one here was Elder Sign. That had 7%. Remember, we had to go to the vote on that one, so everybody knew that. The next one was King of Tokyo, if I remember correctly. Yep. King of Tokyo.
Our highest point getter.
Had 16%.
Yep.
Yeah, it is our highest, huh?
Yep.
And then finally, Pandemic the Cure. As I was saying earlier, people don't want to talk about it. 5% of the vote.
We want to talk about it more than what was it, Bang the Dice Game?
They talk about Bruno more than they talk about Pandemic.
It's true. Yep. Cool. All right, so our next round, we're going to be going for Ganshan Clever versus Dice Throne and Tiny Epic Galaxies versus Cubitos. We'll start with Ganshan Clever versus Dice Throne. Here we go. Here we attempt round of... Reroll my D2. Here we go. Locked it in. I'm going first.
You get, that's pretty clever.
That was an example of re-rolling and locking right there. That's pretty clever. Okay, this is going up against Dice Throne. Oh boy. Okay.
Take your bias out of it.
No, I will. Okay, so one thing that, like I said, that combo nature of That's Pretty Clever really does lend people to feel clever. It is very much that stand-up moment. When you get that combo, that is almost like you just unlocked like this massive treasure trove. Like you unlocked the padlock, you solved the riddle of the Sphinx or whatever, and you feel like you just did something incredible. Whether it was really your choice or not is different, but you feel that way, and that game gives you those memorable moments. So I think game immersion does go to Gone Sean Clever because of that alone. That isn't really a thing in Dice Throne. Whereas it's very simple to play. It's a roll and write, which is true. And there are some meaningful choices, like because you have to consider not only the number that's rolled on the dice, but what color it is. And also the fact that since you can't go to a higher number, like you said earlier, then there is some push and pull. Of course, you would always want to go smaller numbers. But do you, though? Because if you go smaller numbers, then there's a chance that you might not ever get a higher number for the rest of that round because other people might take them. Yep. Or if you go too high, then that gives a lot more options for everybody else. And that makes it more options for them on your turn, even though you're impacting their strategy. So there's a lot of give and take into it. There's a lot to like about it, so much to the point where they got 4 different versions of it. They have, they're probably coming out with a 5 version eventually.
Well, they have, That's Pretty Clever.
Yeah.
Then there is, I can't remember what the second one is, but then there's Clever Cubed and Clever Forever.
Yeah, Clever Forever, yeah. Twice as clever.
Twice as clever, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Plays pretty much the same, just the sheets are different.
Yeah.
And the colors are different.
Yeah, the colors are different, but they also have like a few different like ways to combo in different ways.
Yeah.
But essentially it's the same DNA. Mm-hmm. Which I haven't played like the later ones, but there's a reason those
I have
those
played
are that popular.
Up to Clever Cube. I think I have Twice as Clever and That's Pretty Clever.
Yeah.
For now.
3 fast, 3 clever. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so anyway, I'll be curious to see your side of it with Dice Throne, but I mean, yeah, this is tough.
It is a bit tough because it's number one for a reason. It is loved. It has some nice engine building for a roll and write game.
Yep.
It's a little more complicated than a lot of roll and writes. Like Welcome to is much simpler than say That's Pretty Clever, and all you're doing is rolling dice and locking or playing numbers. So. Strategy wise, I think it's a smart game. I think it's a very clever game, but it's also going up against a very fantastic game known as Dice Throne. Game immersion, I think that's Dice Throne because you really feel clever with your characters. Like if I'm playing the gunslinger and I'm throwing bullets here and there and attacking you guys, all this and that, it comes through. For a dice game to bring out like the characters that you're playing it as, to make them feel like you are that kind of character and bring that out is amazing. You don't really see that in dice game because it is a very lucky thing. But every power that every character has works really well. If I'm playing Spider-Man, I feel like I'm playing Spider-Man, especially the Miles Morales version of it, because he's got like the Venom Punch and all this and that aspect. If I'm playing Black Widow, I feel like I'm a spy because I'm doing all this and I'm giving you tokens. If I'm playing Krampus, I'm beating those kids with his stick and stuff like that and taking the presents away from Santa. And it's really, really cool. How this really feels like you feel like your character, and then you add it into like the co-op version of it as well, and those characters come out even more because it's like, oh, this is the big bad that I gotta fight. Like I'm fighting Mr. Sinister, I need to use Cyclops to go after this guy, but I don't need him to get my DNA token. They put a lot of effort to. The only game I can really compare this to is how Restoration has made all their characters feel very unique and unmatched for a card game. They do the same thing here in Dice Throne, and they've done a fantastic job on that. So you do get into that game immersion. The art and production value of this game is through the roof. Gone Sean Clever is some sheets and some colorful dice that are wooden. With and little shiny painted. And the silver platter is part of the box. It's not an actual silver platter. It's a screen print on a box.
But it's a silver platter.
A much more meaningful choice in. Yeah, this is where it's a little push for me. Like Dice Throne and That's Pretty Clever are pretty close when it comes to the meaningful choice.
Oh, it's not even. It's not even close.
But
I'll explain why.
Ease of play. Honestly, as complicated as Dice Throne is and how asymmetric it is a much more easier game for me to teach because it's like Yahtzee rules. Throw your dice, follow what your abilities say. That's all you got to do. You have Yahtzee rolls. You throw 3 times. Keep what you want. Trigger your effect how it goes. Where it gets a little iffy on that aspect is the card play. Where you're doing like the little Magic of the Gathering, where you're drawing from your deck and you're putting cards out and the different phases. That's where it gets confusing.
Yeah.
But at its core, chuck your dice, lock your dice, trigger your effect. It's the card play is where it makes it tricky. But then again, you have to remember when you're playing That's Pretty Clever, it's like, if I take this 3, I'm locking the 2s and the 1s underneath it. And that could be a little tricky. It's like, oh, I'm going to take the 6. You're sure that for your first dice, you want to take that die because you're locking everything below that. Oh, that's right. And you have to remind them when they're doing that on that game. I've done that. I have had to do that a couple of times when I'm teaching this game. So ease of play, it's push and pull on aspect of that. But the replay value, for me, through the roof, dice thrown. So I could easily see it being a 5-game sweep. I could see it being a 4-1 kind of sweep.
Yeah.
But where I give dice thrown all the way through.
I still think like ease of play goes to Ganshan Clever just because like it plays itself in some aspects, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever number you do, you're gonna put it wherever it'll fit. If it doesn't, you don't have a spot to fit it, then don't pick that die. You know, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Whereas like the tactility of like when to reroll, what to reroll, action to choose, how do you mitigate it, like all of that stuff, like. That takes ease of play completely out of it. If you've played Magic the Gathering, then I can teach you dice turn pretty easily. If you haven't played a collectible card game like that, it's going to take me a bit. And I always have to give people that caveat. Yeah. Hey, I'm going to teach you this game. You're going to bear with me for a few turns, but once you get the swing of it, you'll start figuring it out. You don't have to do that with Ganshan Clever at all.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Just, like, pick a die.
Like I said, but it's for me, that is where the one I can see.
If it had to do that.
Yeah.
Replay value, that's obvious dice. Don't know. It's not even close.
You have Volume 1, Volume 2, X-Men, Marvel, or X-Men and Marvel.
Yes.
And then they just recently did like the Haunted ones or something like that.
Yeah, they do like a new set, but they also have the Adventure.
Plus the Adventure series,
Deadpool. They also have Santa and Krampus. They also have another couple 4 sets.
That all integrate.
All of them are compatible, right? It's like you know what you're getting into.
Pick your poison. Yeah. If you only want to get like one set, that is perfectly fine. You don't need everything. You don't have to be a collector. But it's like you pick your poison. But it's like, hey, if I got this set, I'm going to bring my X-Men set. You have that set. You bring your Gunslinger. I'm going to bring out Cyclops. So see how it goes.
Yep, exactly.
And I like the fact that I can have this set and still take it over and play against you on your sets.
Yep, exactly. 100% compatible. So a meaningful choice, I think that goes there. Art and production is, it's without a doubt, right?
Yeah.
Ease of play is the only one. So Dice Run moves on.
Yep.
Sorry,
First one to move on.
Yep.
And for our next semifinals, you have Tiny Epic Galaxies going against Cubitos. Whose turn is this?
Let's find out. Rolling my D2. Here we go. Locked in. I'm starting off.
And you get Tiny Epic Galaxies.
Boom. Tiny Epic Galaxies. I mean, again, I both loved both these games. I really do. So, Tiny Epic Galaxies, again, that is that engine building. It just like Cubitos, they both have engine building. Mm-hmm. This is simpler engine building, whereas the engine is built entirely just on the cards that you build and how well you build up your galaxy versus getting different abilities, different cards, different dice, all sorts of chaos in there. There is more replay value, obviously, in Cubitos, just because of all of the different cards. But as far as Tiny Epic Galaxy goes, it packs easy. It's easy to play. All of the Tiny Epics, more or less, like have that big feel in a small box. This is easily the biggest, like the smallest box versus how big the game feels. The biggest span between it because it's...
So basically you're saying the most annoying. Yeah, I get it.
I am not one of those people that get annoyed by like the Tiny Epic box. I appreciate that they're making a big game feel in a small package. Yeah, could it be bigger? Of course it could, right? But I have bigger games that I want to play when I want to play a big game. I also like that I can carry this in like a VHS tape and then be like, I want to play a big game.
You don't have double X fingers.
They're normal-sized cards.
Barely.
The dice... No, they're not. They are poker-sized cards. Not barely. With giant, like, orangutan hands here. Like, what are you talking about? Like, gorilla digits? Like, they're poker cards. There's nothing weird about it. Even in the Ultra Tiny Epic Galaxies, they're still poker-sized cards. So it doesn't, like... Anyway. Whatever, man. No, the production is nice that they were able to do it. They did have extra space in the box, which is what I'm saying though. Is that it's not
the only game that does that.
It's the only one of the Tiny Epics that like really like doesn't like jam pack it to an extreme. Like you have to like put pieces down a certain way. No, it fits pretty well.
I think what was it? Tiny Epic Quest was the first one where you have to. That's the last one you could fill with one expansion in there, and that's it.
Yeah.
Everything else is like packed to the rim. Like my Tiny Epic Cthulhu, both the expansion and the base game have to be together because you can't fit anything in those boxes. Exactly.
Or you could have in Tiny Epic Galaxies, which is kind of cool. And also the deck box version of it. That's great. That's a super fun portable version of it.
Which you don't use anymore. That's probably one of those.
Probably one of what?
The photo cases?
No, I keep it in a tuck box. It wouldn't make sense to put it in a bigger box. That's unnecessary. Now, the Tiny Epic Galaxies Blast Off, I have that in a photo case.
Oh, is that the dice one?
No, that's the simplified version of Tiny Epic Galaxies. Yeah. Where they took out a lot of so how every card has its own different unique ability, each planet. This has more just like a couple of sets of them. And then you just build it up that way. It's a simplified version of it.
Talk about beating a dead horse. Every different version of it.
I mean, that was also $20 too. Yeah, right?
I'm not disagreeing. I was just like...
very much made sense. But Tiny Epic Galaxies, it has those memorable moments where, like I said, I might snipe out a planet out from under you that you happen to be settling on. Or you might have had, already almost finished the orbit. And I'm like, boom, got it. Got the economy up. I got that. Now I have that ability. Anytime I do a colony phase, I can just use all of these abilities, which is super dope. I like that engine building. First one to 21 or more points triggers the end. Most points wins. Pretty simple engine building. Super fun. I like it a lot. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to move on.
There's a bigger version of this game that I like that does everything this kind of does, but better, and it does it with deck building. Eminent Domain.
Eminent Domain is silly.
It is, but I'm not wrong. It's a lot like what you have the following ability if you have the cards in your hand, and it's a much bigger presence. It's sci-fi. You have little cool black ships.
Although Tiny Epic or Eminent Domain doesn't need to be in a box anywhere near that.
No, it doesn't.
That could fit in a Tiny Epic box.
No, it can.
Yeah, it can.
No, it can.
Just about.
Honestly, I would prefer Tiny Epic Galaxies if I put it in something like an Elder Sign or just like the new All Play box where it just gives me a little bit more length to put everything in there. So, but I digress. It is a fantastic game. It is fun. It's one of my favorite Tiny Epic games. It's probably like my 2 or 3 right now.
What would you say is your favorite?
My favorite is still Tiny Epic Quest. Mind you, I haven't played Dungeons yet, so I don't know if that's going to usurp it.
It was fun.
But, I like Dungeon Crawl, so... Yeah. But I also love Tiny Epic Quest. I love the way moving around.
And Cthulhu was really fun.
That one was really cool. That, I think, did move above Tiny Epic Galaxies. Yeah. Just because it has a functioning spinner that works.
Yeah, pretty good one.
But I digress. Again, I think Kubito soon move on just because I have the more memorable moments in that one. I agree with you. The art and production is better in Tiny Epic Galaxies. The dice are cool in Kubitos. Yeah. They're just simple dice.
Yeah,
and they're tiny. But those boxes are annoying, very annoying. Out of the base game.
Yep.
Both are pretty simple. The engine building aspect of both of these are really good. It's just like if I roll blanks, that's it. You're done. Whereas you're just I'm re-rolling. But I have to spend an energy. It's neither here nor there. Meaningful choice. I like Kubitos. I mean, there's a lot of meaningful choice in both of these games. The impact of other players. It's that push and pull aspect of Kubitos where I got to go take this flag from you. This way I can have that ability. I got these coins. I need to spend that money to go get that power before anybody else does. I got to get to this area first because this way I can get to the market first and buy that card that gives me more abilities. And Tiny Epic Galaxies I got to get to that planet. I know he's going for that planet, but I need that planet for my engine and that kind of aspect. So it's just, both of these are just, I don't know. I think Kubitos goes on, but it's more because it's just that personal feel. It's just more fun for me in that memorable moments, winning that race and pushing through. Tiny Epic Galaxies is what it is. It's a Euro. And so at times we could be sitting at the table and be like, oh, what'd you roll over there? Okay, yeah, I'll follow you on that. That's the only time I'm paying attention to someone else's turn. Other than that, I'm like this most of the game. What do I need to do on my turn? What am I looking for on my rolls? Kubito's oh God, you're coming up on my butt. I need to roll high on this one. I don't care how many blanks I'm getting right now. I got to roll. Oh God. Oh, that is way too many blanks. Do I need to stop right here and see what's going on? So, like I said, it's just it's the memorable moment thing that only wins it for me. But everything else, it's pretty close. Both have good, meaningful choice. Both have simplicity to them, even though some are tighter than others. And both have some replay value aspects, because I think there's, 2 expansions for Tiny Epic Galaxies? I know there's 2 for Cubitos.
Yeah.
So, wash there. I don't know if there's going to be more expansions for Cubitos. We haven't heard anything. Tiny Epic's pretty much done, other than, like the smaller versions that they've been doing, but I haven't heard anything new. Now, that's not to say there isn't anything new coming out for it, because Tiny Epic is now under Tycoon Games, and they just brought a whole new Blood Rage out, so we'll see what they do there. But we don't know. Nothing's been confirmed, so we can't give them that aspect of it. All right, we're going to break it down. Which is more game immersive for you? For me, it's Cubitos. Cubitos.
Yeah, probably.
Art and production?
Tiny Epic.
I agree.
Yep.
I'll come back to that one, because I think that might be a little bit more contention. Ease of play for you.
Honestly, I think it's Tiny Epic. I think it's simpler.
For me, it is just because, I agree with you, Tiny Epic might be easier. Both of them are very simple, so that's a wash. For me, it's 1-to-1, because I think the likely Cubitos has a better chance to get to the table, just for other game groups that I played, because some people are just turned off by sci-fi, whereas racing games, they go down pretty well.
Technically, Cubitos is an alien planet, so it's also sci-fi.
Not the kind of sci-fi, like, you're thinking like 4X is what I'm talking about, like sci-fi. Because that's what Tiny Epic Galaxies is. It's a 4X game in a tiny itty bitty box.
It's unrealistic to do like spaceships to different planets, right? Instead, let's like roll sponge animals.
So it's either here nor there, but I think a racing game is just a better chance to conquering planets and stuff like that.
I'm being facetious. I'm just saying, like,
I know you are.
Yeah, thematic. I don't think either of them have an
very much
over
thematic,
the other. Is all I'm saying.
I'm just saying the likelihood to get to the table.
And when you look at that cover, you walk away from Cubitos.
Yeah, that is true too. That is true. That's a factor too. So it's just like, for me, ease of play is a wash.
Okay.
I don't know about you.
Tiny Epic, I think, just...
All right, and then replay value, I think that's Cubitos. But I think Tiny Epic just moves on. Because I think it's 3-2.
Well, we haven't talked about Meaningful Choice.
Oh, yeah, we moved on Meaningful Choice.
We have 2-2. Meaningful Choice is the only one we haven't talked about.
I can tell you already what the Meaningful Choice for me is. Tiny Epic Galaxies.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just, there's a lot more strategy to it. I am racing you. But Tiny Epic is like, I got to do this, I got to do that. I have to get this engine built a lot more efficiently than Cubitos. I can actually pivot pretty well in Cubitos. If I pivot in Tiny Epic Galaxies, more than likely I'm not catching up.
Right. And here's the thing, right? Like, you need to, for Tiny Epic Galaxies, you have to, when you get a planet as an ability, and not only is it the points, that's what you need to win, but when you get it as the ability, that's super important, that ability is your engine that you've taken away from everybody else. The dice that you get in Cubitos, you can still get a die like I can. There's nothing I can do to stop you from gaining that same ability that I'm getting. There's nothing I can do that you can't in that game. It's all just who gets luckier in their rolls. Yeah. Whereas if I gain an ability that will really be advantageous, especially like 2 planets that work off of each other, that I've built that thing that you now can no longer do.
Yeah, that's true.
And so that's why it's like, that is more strategic, I think.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I just feel, that's why I was like, Tiny Epic moves on, because I just thought we had talked about Meaningful Choice and Tiny Epic wins that one, because there's just a lot more strategy to it. Like I said, I could pivot more in Cubitos.
Yeah.
You have to play efficient in Tiny Epic Galaxies.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, with that being said, we got our 6-seed Dice Throne going up against our 2-seed Tiny Epic Galaxies. This has been your bracket, and then we're going to go into the eliminations here. That's pretty clever. Ganshan Clever had 11% of the vote when it got eliminated, and Cubitos actually surprisingly did well, 10% of the vote, so good for them. And just to confirm for everybody here, because we didn't talk about it at the top of the thing, we had 172 votes in this poll, so pretty good for something that only went up recently.
Yeah, exactly. So now our final round, Tiny Epic Galaxies versus Dice Throne. We take our debate out of it. We don't flip the coin. We don't argue a side. We've already argued the sides. So let's just see which ones win what.
I have one that's pretty easy for me that wins.
I do too.
There's 2 that win easily for me.
Clear as day.
Mine, for me, is game immersion. That's dice thrown.
Okay.
And the other one is also dice thrown, and that's replay value.
I was going to say art and production.
Okay, there's 3.
All right. There we go.
I agree with you on the art production, but for me, like the game immersion, the fact that each character makes you feel like you're playing that character.
Right.
Whereas, there is some
agree.
good immersion in Tiny Epic Galaxies.
Yes.
There is some memorable moments, but if I'm able to pull off that Yahtzee,
yes.
you're just like, you're feeling top of the world. Even if you lose the game, you're like, I pulled that off. Haha, screw you. Yeah. Therefore, it's both fun to lose. Sometimes I'm finding in Tiny Epic Galaxies, I'm like, yeah, I had fun, but my dice rolling sucked, and I couldn't follow anybody. I couldn't get the resources I need. This is just not an efficient game based on what happened here.
Sure.
Dice throwing is like, yeah, I lost. Cool. I still hit a Yahtzee. Aha.
I won in my eyes. Darn it.
That kind of thing.
And here's the thing. This is why I think Tiny Epic Galaxies, and I think we should point out, I think it's more meaningful choice. And for one primary reason, is that because you have to roll combinations in Dice Throne, all the dice are reliant on other dice hitting what they need to do.
Yeah.
Like, if I roll a single one of, like, the whacking stick from Krampus, right? That only matters if I've rolled other ones of that type. Yes. Or it only matters if I roll this other one. Whereas in Tiny Epic Galaxies, every die has its own distinct action that is not reliant on any other die. If I need to move on a planet, as long as I have one die that has the movement icon, I do not need combinations of dice to do it. I can do it right then and there. So I think like that would be. And we've already decided the winner. I just think that it's worth us explaining that I think meaningful choice, it is substantially more meaningful.
Oh, yeah. Choice. And the thing is, too, is like, I don't think it's a clean sweep. I don't think it's going to be 4-1. I think it's going to be 3-2 because I think Tiny Epic Galaxies is just inherently easier to teach than Dice Throw because of all the uniqueness of that as well.
Yes.
Whereas Dice Throne is much easier to get to the table, but the simplicity and familiarity of the mechanisms, you roll dice, you get the resources, you can spend a resource to re-roll your dice. Very simple.
It also depends on the size of the table. You can't play Dice Throne on an airplane. You probably could with Tiny Epic Galaxies pretty easily.
Not necessarily. That's my gripe about Tiny Epic Galaxies. It's a table eater for something that comes in such a small box. Compared to some of the other Tiny Epic games, like... all of them actually are pretty big table eaters. Yeah, they do. Maybe Defenders is probably the smallest footprint because it's like, all right, there's the center, and I could probably get that on a smaller table. But Dice Throne is like you just play your tray in the thing. You can't play it on an airplane, but I wouldn't. By the way,
yeah, I wouldn't play any of these on an airplane. That'd be
if you had ultra tiny Epic Galaxies, you could play that.
Can you imagine Cubitos on a plane?
Oh God! Oh man!
One thing in turbulence, everything's re-rolled for everybody. It's like, no!
Or you're trying to find them on the table.
Where did that token fall? No!
That was a character, no less.
That was a character! I can't play this character now!
But so for me, it's not a clean sweep. We just hit the 3 that really felt was going to hit. You hit art and production. I hit replay value because, again, there's 4 currently out. Minus the smaller ones like Krampus and stuff like that and Deadpool. But there's 4 full boxes out that you can play. And they intermingle, not to mention the co-op version of it. Mm-hmm. That's why I think Dice Throne gets replay value. Yeah, I think ease of play, Tiny Epic Galaxy is a much simpler game. The mechanism and stuff like that is much simpler. Yes, and it's easier to teach because Dice Throne. And I talked about it when we talked about Spooktacular and other games. When it comes to this asymmetry, it's inherently difficult to teach these games unless everybody is very familiar because. I may be learning a character, and I have to teach you a character, even if it's an easy character, because your character does something completely different than some of the other characters will do. Like Loki. Loki is a very difficult character to teach because he does things, he manipulates things. Tiny Epic Galaxy is like, you do this, you do that. You don't even have to spend energy if you don't want to. If you don't want to re-roll, you're happy with your roll, you're fine. Yep. That's what you're getting. And so, for me, meaningful choice and ease of play is Tiny Epic Galaxies, but the other 3 just... blow it out of the water. It's not
even close. Yeah. Not even competition. So congratulations, Dice Throne.
Second time it's won our Christmas special.
I'm telling you, man. Like, it's ridiculous. It's a very, very... we'll see how it does in the Champion of Champions or whatever.
Oh, yeah, the Champions Edition, and stuff like that. We still got, like, 3 more years of doing this before we can do the Champions of Champions top 8 debate.
Yeah.
Because this is all. Whoever wins this year is only going to be the 6th game in that list. So
it will be very, very well promenades. Anyway, so we hope you enjoyed this episode. Congratulations again, Dice Throne. If you ever want to email us, we have an email at everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com. You can email us whether it's future contests, whether it's to give us ideas for future episodes, or just reach out and say hello. Also, we have Instagram, instagram.com/everydayboardgames. Make sure you follow us there so you can see all the updates that we are giving out from BGG-Con over this next week.
This is in December.
If you're listening to a replay of this, make sure you follow us so you can see all of the updates we have previously posted from BGG-Con earlier this month.
All video re-uploads and reviews are found under youtube.com/@everydayboardgames. And if you like what we do, there are 3 things you can do to help us grow on the platform. Subscribe if you're not, like the video, and comment down below and tell us your thoughts on the subject.
We also stream our episodes live at twitch.tv/everydayboardgames. And again, follow us there. We'd love it when people join in on the conversation. Thank you to everybody who joined us and was lurking in the background. And join us on live episodes. Join in on the conversation. Distract me and...
get me on his case every time.
Yeah. Have him yell at me for distracting. It's cool.
All audio versions can be found on most podcast platforms under Everyday Board Games Podcast. This includes Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and Apple.
So as always, I've been your host, Daniel.
And I've been your host, Daniel.
And we want to thank you for listening to Everyday Board Games.
And remember, every day is a good day for board gaming. And happy holidays.